excuse me, Lamed Tes Amid Bey. A couple lines from the top. Ton Rabbana. Osa Shana Shemesh Bo Shimon HaTzadik Omer Lahem. The year that Shimon HaTzadik passed away, he told them, B'shana Zuhu Meis. He predicted his death. He said, I'm going to die this year. Omer Lo Minayin Ata Yodea. So they asked him, how do you know? Omer Lahem. B'chol Yom HaKippurim Hayam Izdamin Li Zaken Echad Lavush Levanim V'atuf Levanim Nichnasi Mi V'yatzei Mi. Every year, when I went into the Kodesh Kadoshim, I saw the image of an old man dressed in white, who went in to the Kodesh Kadoshim with me and went out with me. V'hayom nizdamin li zak, and today on Yom Kippur, when I came out, nizdamin li zakin echad lavush shchorim v'atuf shchorim. He was wearing black, and nichnasi mi v'lo yatzei mi. He came into the Kodesh Kadoshim with me, but he didn't walk out with me. That was the simon to Shimon HaTzadik that he wasn't going to survive that year. Achar haregel, after Sukkot chala shivas yamim v'meis. He was sick for 7 days and passed away. From that time on, nimnu echav hakohanim levarach b'shem. That's when they stopped saying the Shem HaMefoirash, and they would say Adoshem, like we say. That it was at the time when after Shimon HaTzadik was the last coin who would use the Shem HaMefoirash. Tana Rabbanan, Arboim Shana Kodim Churban Habayis, 40 years before the destruction of the Second Temple. Lo Haya Garal Oila Biyamin. For 40 years in a row, the goyrel that said Hashem would not come into the right hand. V'lo Haya Loshen Shel Zoharis Malbim. The red string didn't turn white. V'lo Haya Ner Maravi Doilik. The western candle was never lit. The doors of the Heichel would open by itself as a simon that, inviting the enemy in. Until Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai yelled at the gates, why are you sort of kicking yourself? We know that the bias will be destroyed. There was already a nevuah from Zechariah. Ptach levanon blasecha. Levanon is a word that refers to the Beis HaMikdash. Open your doors. V'tochal eish barazecha. Let fire take hold of the cedar wood. Amar Rav Yitzchak ben Tavloi lama nikra shmo Levanon. Why is the Beis HaMikdash called Levanon? Shemal bin Avonasei Shel Yisrael. It whitens the sins of Klal Yisrael. So the Rav Zutra Bar Tuvi lama nikra shmo Yar. Why is a reference to the Beis HaMikdash like a forest? Chsiv Beis Yar Halvanon, because of the pasuk. Lo Melacha. Ma Yar Melavlev El Beis HaMikdash. Ma Yar Melavlev. It causes growth, right? Just like a forest grows, our Beis HaMikdash Melavlev causes people to grow. When Shlomo Melech built the Beis HaMikdash, he built trees that would produce golden fruit. And they would produce fruit in its season. When the wind would blow through the trees, the fruit would fall. Shneamar, Yirash Kalvanon Piryo. Umehen, from these golden fruit, Isa Parnasa Lakuna. The Kohanim would make a living. When the Romans came into the Beis HaMikdash, they dried up. Shneamar Uperach Levanon Umlal. That the flowering of the Beis HaMikdash would wither. Kodesh Baruch Hu will return this to us. Shneamar Paruach Tifrach. The Tagelis Gilas Vranin Kavod al Vanoni Tanla. Then, after you take the goyrel out of the box, Nisonan al Shnei Irim. They would place the goyrel on the head or on top of the goats. Ton Rabbanon. Esther Pami Masker going Godel Sashem Bo Bayom. The Shem HaMeforish would be recited 10 times. Shlosha B'vidui Rishon, Shlosha B'vidui Sheni, Shlosha B'sar Mishtalech. He would have 3 viduis. Each time, each vidu, the Ana B'Shem, Kaper Na, and each time he would, in that vidui, there are 3 names of Hashem. And Echad B'Goyralos. When he took out the goyrel that said La Hashem, that's also the Shem HaMeforish. So that's 10. Ukvar Omer Hashem v'nishma kolo b'Yericho. The Shem HaMeforish would carry all the way to Yericho. Omer Rabbi Rachanim Yerushalayim l'Yericho asar parsos. 10 parsos from Yerushalayim to Yericho. V'tzir daltes ha'echel nishma b'shmona tchumei Shabbos. The hinge of opening the door of the Heichal would also make a noise that it could be heard. At Tchum Shabbos is 2,000 mil, so it would be heard 16,000 mil. Izim should be Yericho misashos berecha ktoiris. The goats in Yericho would sneeze from the smell of the ktoiris that you could smell all the way from Yerushalayim. Noshim should be Yericho enon tzrichon lizbashim berecha ktoiris. Women in Yericho did not have to put on perfume because of the fragrance of the ktoiris. The Ekal in Yerushalayim also didn't have to wear perfume. Amr Rav Yossi ben Dulgoy, he had izim in a city called Hari Mechmar, and they would also sneeze from the ktoiris. Amr Rav Chia bar Avin, Amr Rav Yeshua ben Korcha, Sachli Zakin Echad, Pamachas Alachti L'Shilo, Irachti Reach Ktoiris B'bein Koslea. I was in Shiloh after the Churban of Shiloh was in the time of the Shoftim, like we're learning in Navi, by the time of Eliab Cohen. There's 1,000 years, and they could still smell the Ktoiris in the Churban of Shiloh. On Rav Yanai, Aliyas Gorel Mitoch Kalfi Ma'akeves. If you don't take the goyrel out of the box, you cannot do the avodah with the goats. It's ma'akev. However, hanacha eina ma'akeves. But placing the goyrel on the sa'ir, if you didn't do it, it's still okay. But Rav Yochanan Amar Afaliyah eina ma'akeves. Rav Yochanan says even if the kohen is koiveya, which sa'ir is Lashem without the goyrel, it's also yotza, even though he didn't mekayim the mitzvah that the Torah says you should do it with a goyrel. It's not ma'akev. The Rambam paskins that you need to do at least the hagrola, but the hanacha of the goyrel is not ma'akeves. That's going to be the maskon of the Gemara. Now, that's according to Rav Yanai. Alid Rav Yudah, Domar, Dvorim Anasim B'Vigdei Lavin Mibachutz Lo Ma'akva. All the things that were done in the Bigdei Lavan outside of the Kodesh Kadoshim, or outside of the Heichal, or specifically the Kodesh Kadoshim, those things are not ma'akev. That means things that he's supposed to do in the Kodesh Kadoshim, wearing the Bigdei Lavan, if he didn't do, all those things are ma'akev. But everything outside the Kodesh Kadoshim is not ma'akev. So according to that opinion, according to Rabbi Yehuda, kulam loy pligid loy ma'akva. So then there's no machloikes, according to anybody, that if he didn't do the goyrol, it's not ma'akev because that's an avodah that occurs outside the Kodesh Kadoshim. Ki pliga libid Rav Nechemia. The only machloikes is according to Rav Nechemia, who says chuka. Anytime it says chok, when you're wearing the Bigdei Lavan, it's also going to be ma'akev. So here is also, he was wearing the Bigdei Lavan. So according to Rav Nechemia, it's machloikes whether we pass like Rav Yehuda, Rav Nechemia. Mandam ma'akva. Rav Nechemia. Mandar lo makva. The one who says it's not makva, hanimili avoida. And agrol is lav avoida he. That's not really considered an avoida. Like being makriv korbanos. However, ikedi amri, other people learn. Alibid Rav Nechemia damar ma'akva kulam lo pligid ma'akva. Rav Nechemia's shita, where anytime it says chok and the big day lavon, if you don't do it, it's ma'akev. So according to that shita, of course, it's going to be ma'akev if you don't do the goyro. Ki pliga libid Rabbi Yehuda. Mandar maloi ma'akva Rabbi Yehuda, who said that things that you do outside the Kodesh Kadoshim and the big day lavon are not ma'akev. Mandar ma'akva shani hacha the tana bekra asher Allah trei zimni. It says twice, Asher Allah v'goyrel lazozel. Says it twice. So here by the goyrel, it's a special gzeres hakosu that even though the general rule would not be ma'akev, but since the Torah repeated Asher Allah twice, it is ma'akev. Meisvei, I'll ask you a kasha. It says mitzvah lahagril. Mitzvah ben amufchar is to do the goyrel, but the in lo higril kosher. So bishmalach lishim damer salibid Rabbi Yehuda lo pligid lo makva mani Rabbi Yehuda. So according to the opinion that it's Rabbi Yehuda and everybody holds that it's not ma'akev. So who is the author of this baraisa? It's Rabbi Yehuda. Now we're on Mem, Mario.